NIL has been a huge topic over the last few years, something we all missed out on. Obviously, they're trying to make a little bit of progress, although money is not actually coming from the schools or the NCAA. It's coming from outside resources. What do you still feel like needs to happen to just right this ship? I mean, the NCAA is a billion-dollar institution. Football is the main driver. Basketball is right behind it. They're making billions atop of billions of dollars, thinking that a diploma or something is equal to all the money they're making, which it's not. What do you personally feel, someone who's been through the ringer of the NCAA and still kind of telling your story with that, what do you feel they need to do to start righting their wrongs overall?
Well, I think the first step was NIL, allowing players to make money off their name, image, and likeness, because from day one, you already owned your NIL. It was just that when you got into college football or basketball, now you were stripped of that ability. And so that's what really the Supreme Court ruling was over 9-0, which basically said what you guys are doing is illegal. And now fast forward to literally a week ago, the settlement that the NCAA settled with now players being able to be paid by the universities, by the schools. That was the next biggest hurdle, because now what that means is players will be considered employees. And so when you're an employee, you can collectively bargain, you can unionize, and you can start to work towards better, work conditions, like any other job that you might have, right? Any other place. And so that was the biggest issue, was the players and the kids were not protected. And they had no unionization, they had no representation, right? And you think about all the things that's wrapped up in that, right? And it was the players that were being exploited. And also at the same time, the money that we were making was being used to go pay for coaches, facilities, presidents, athletic directors.
New buildings on campus.
Everything. Yeah, when you see a new building, I mean, I'll never forget, seeing the new basketball stadium, go up, around the same time period as when we were winning. I was like, I wonder if we had something to do with that.
Not something, a lot to do. It was funny too, because there's supposed to be some huge rivalry between SC and UCLA, and there is. I think it's more for the students and the fans. But I was a huge fan of you guys because I was a football guy first. So being able to see you guys right down the street and what you were doing, it was just always so impressive. And like you said, in the city with the Lakers, Clippers weren't that good back then, but USC was it. UC was the draw. The celebrities were there. Like I said, your jersey was everywhere. Like, you guys really had a stranglehold on the LA in your 3 years at USC.
And we had, I mean, like you said, it's the environment we created on that football field. Like you said, celebrities on the sidelines, stadium packed 94,000.
Rappers rapping about y'all in college.
It was, the only thing you can compare that to is the U, right? Because the U was they were that team before us. And I never forget, growing up as a young kid wanting to play in college, and I was such a fan of everything that the U was doing. The players, they were flashy. They had swag. They knock your head off. Like, just everything about those teams. And you saw some of the celebrities on the sidelines there, and it was like, dang, college football can do this.
You guys are a 2K version of that.
And that's what the NCAA has always been afraid of, because when you start to have teams that start to separate from the pack, now the NCAA feels like we might lose control, right? And they never want to lose control. They always want to be in control. And so think about those teams. I mean, we were ultra powerful, you know what I'm saying? And we in a good way, obviously. But again, that's the thing that NCAA has always wanted to guard against, is not allowing the players to understand their true value and allowing these teams to get too big to where they start to branch off.
Bigger than the program.
Bigger than the program, exactly.
You unleashed something on the NCAA recently on the Instagram post. Jack's going to read it.
Yes, sir.
This is what the NCAA was always afraid of. The power is in the players' hands now, and always been there. They just wanted us to remain ignorant and continue to believe in the lie that your degree is a fair trade. The truth is, college football is big business. Billions are profited of college athletes every year, while the players are given breadcrumbs and left to struggle through their lifelong pain and injuries. I've had former teammates who've committed suicide and injuries sustained in college football. College football is at the top of the food chain. Is it king of the world of college sports, period? The NCAA plus universities, Power 4 conferences benefit of college football and basketball and its players through the exploitation of NIL. They have always fought hard to keep players from knowing their true power and value, but times have changed and people are starting to finally wake up. The power of information is real, and your days are numbered, NCAA, and I will be there to watch you bleed out with my trophy in one hand and the knife in the other.
That's right. Remember who cut you. Remember who cut you. Remember who cut you.
With Jack reading that, that's something that's been inside of you for a long time. Because as we stated earlier in the interview, they've dragged you, they've demeaned you, your family, you know, called you a cheater, a liar, did everything they possibly could, and you've kind of just had to sit back and take it. So to be able to get that out is somewhat vindicating.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And you know, that's obviously been on my heart for a long time. That came from the heart.
Right.
There were no ghostwriters, nobody that wrote that. I literally wrote that from the heart, you know what I'm saying? And that was before I got my Heisman Trophy back. I always knew I was gonna get it back. The same way when I was in high school, I said I was gonna win the Heisman Trophy before I even knew what it would take. Before I even knew the workload that was going to be required to go into it, I just knew I could win that. And the same way that I manifested it into my life the first time is the same way I manifested it right back into my hands the second time. And this is something that has been, like you said, it's been, you know, on my heart for a long time. I've been fighting this thing for 14 years. You know, it's been unfortunate, but, you know, here we are. And everything is happening. Everything, I mean, literally everything is happening the way that I thought it would happen. I knew at some point the facts and the truth would come out.
Right.
It's just a matter of time. You can only, you know, continue with a lie for so long, right? You can only shout for so long. I mean, the NCAA was ultra powerful back then. You gotta understand, they're the almighty. And the issue is they're the judge and the jury. So very different than, you know, when you go to regular court and they have an actual jury that's separate from they are the judge and the jury. So whatever they say goes. Whatever they want to do to you, they'll do to you. And you'll get caught up in this spider web of just, you know, issues in different ways that you have to go back and fight them. One, is going to cost you a lot of money because they got billions of dollars that they make every year. And you know, they can just wait you out, you know, for as long as they want until you either just run out of patience or money. And so my running back coach in 2010 filed a defamation of character lawsuit against him before I did. And my plan was to wait until that case settled. I thought it would take 2 or 3 years. It took them 12 years. They just settled the case a year ago.
He won?
He won, and yeah, he won, got paid. They paid him $8 million. And so, but what the NCAA did was they made him sign a non-disclosure agreement so that it would get swept under the rug and nobody would find out. So they've already lost one case in this on this story. And so, you know, now we've seen all these other things happen, all these other dominoes that are falling. And so now, you know,
2024 is the year of truth.
2024, baby,
Man,
year of truth.
Motherfuckers better run it high.
New college football game coming out.
Yeah.
You was on 2007 cover.
Yep.
With everything going on now, you know, how big the game is, I can't wait for it to play. They owe you some money, huh?
Yeah, they owe me a lot. You know what I'm saying? They owe me a lot. You know? But you know, how ironic is that? You know what I'm saying? You look on the NCAA, you look on that cover, you see my picture in NCAA over my chest.
Yeah.
How ironic is that? How full circle is that right now?
Right.
You know, based on what we're talking about and the exploitation, you know, that the NCAA was able to get away with for so long. And you got to understand, you know, there's this word that they have been able to create in every single, you see it everywhere. This word student athlete. So this word student athlete, I literally just heard Snoop Dogg say it on his Instagram post talking about the college bowl game that he has. But people don't understand this word student athlete was created out of response to two lawsuits, or two workers' compensation claims. One, they're both football related. The first one, a guy died from football injuries he sustained. And then the second one was a running back from TCU who was paralyzed on the play from the waist down. And the families filed for workers' compensation obviously because, you know, they're trying to take care of the family members and the medical benefits.
Yeah.
They probably couldn't afford it back then. And so the NCAA, being who they are, saw this as an issue for anybody that would come after them to try to file a workers' compensation claim. So this guy, Walter Byers, who worked for the NCAA at this time, created this word student athlete basically as a legal defense word that they could use in court, and to get away with not being able to play players for injuries sustained in college football. And so when people say student athletes, you're saying student first, athlete second, right? Mm-hmm. For so long, even though you got a scholarship to go to college to play basketball, football, they still were selling, they still were saying that you come here to be a student first. And the football or basketball you choose to play is an extracurricular activity. Mm-hmm. So that's why they considered it an amateurism sport, right? And so this word student athlete was created by this guy, Walter Byers, out of response to these two workers' compensation claims, because they knew that anybody else that came after, if there were any other cases that came after them, they would do the same thing. Mm-hmm. And so this all has been about just exploiting players and exploiting athletes, to the point to where they will create words secretly in plain sight and you don't even know. Every time you say student athlete, that word is
you're hurting the athlete.
Hurting the athletes when you say that.
That's
exactly.
Crazy. I would be remiss without mentioning our brother Ed O'Bannon, man. Shout out Ed O'Bannon.
Shout out to Ed O'Bannon, man.
What he's been able to do and the doors he started opening and the eyeballs and the attention he brought to this only helps everyone else, such as yourself, in this process. Absolutely.
That was the start. And I mean, how many years ago was that? 30. It was 30 years ago.
Was it 30?
Actual lawsuit?
Yeah.
No, that was not. Sorry, I think that was when he played.
No, it was a long time ago.
Yeah,
it might have been 20 something.
It might have been like 30 years.
It might have been about 30 years ago.
Yeah.
But and it took us that long to get to where we are now. You know what I'm saying? And that happened 30 years ago. But I mean, that was such a big momentum shift, for players, versus the NCAA. But yeah, man, that was massive. That was huge.
Like Reggie though, he don't talk or
Ed don't speak much.
Yeah.
From the video game, 2009. It happened because he saw the video game. And saw like the players.
Yeah, players being put on these video games and being exploited. And you're not getting anything from the NCAA, nothing, not a dime.
And them games are good. I mean, there was never a college basketball game, but the football game was always dope.
It was a college basketball game.
It was basketball.
It was decent. It wasn't good.
Shit, it wasn't the college football game. College football game was dope.
Yeah, always been dope.
NIL right now, college football is heavy. Some of the top earners, Shador Sanders, Travis Hunter, Archie Manning, value between $3 to $4 million. With all due respect to those young stars, what would a Reggie Bush had done at USC in a full
He'd have been
NIL?
maxed out.
He would have took a pay cut to go to the NFL first and foremost. What kind of money you think you could have had in this NIL era?
Oh my God, man! Being here in LA, in Hollywood, at USC, one of the most storied programs, winning Heisman trophies, national championships, bruh.
Sixfold.
It would have been. It would have been amazing. I don't know if I would have been ready for it. Being that young, and having that much money, or just having money like that, because also when you're that young, 18, 19, you're not financially.
No,
I'm not financially.
I get that bread in college. I ain't thinking about the league. I'm gonna stay here for a little while.
You're gonna just spend it right away. You're gonna spend all of it.
7-year senior.
So on one end. Obviously NIL is available to players now, but I was also came to the NFL at a time period where you got your money up front when you got drafted.
Yeah.
And now they don't have that anymore because it's been slotted now, towards veterans, and now you got to go work towards getting your money, getting that big contract. Mm-hmm. And when I came out, you got the big contract up front, and so it's a different understanding. And I think that's why it also speaks to, why playing running back now is even more tough.
Yeah. Because
as a running back, you really, the lifespan of running back is really 3 to 4 years.
The risk ain't worth the reward, kind of.
The reward is not
what everybody else getting.
No.
Yeah.
Quarterbacks is getting.
Now too, they're getting close to guaranteed basketball deals now.
Exactly.
That was all signing bonus and no guaranteed money.
And so you got to think, as a running back, my career average 3 to 4 years, how am I going to get a big contract out of that? You're not.
Nope.
And so you're going to spend those first 3 to 4 years just trying to get there, and they're going to replace you right away. And so now, it's even worse for running backs because you trying to earn it, but the odds are stacked up against you, even more. And so that's why, NIL is great. Now I'm happy they got it, but I'm also blessed that I came through a time period where I was, taken care of up front.
Yeah.
And and I was smart with my money and saved it, and you know now we're good.
How many contracts did you get in the league?
So I did my rookie contract was 6 years, and then I did a 2-year contract with the Dolphins after that, 4-year deal with the Lions, but I only saw 2 years of that.
Yeah.
1 year.
Saints.
Yeah. So what? That's
four
contracts.
Yeah.
But only one of those was a big contract.
Yeah.
The first one, that was it.
Yeah.
Second contract was, I didn't even see this last 2 years.
Yeah.
So they traded me, or they released me after that. So really, that's why I said I got my contract up front. That was where my big money came from.
First one.
But when you got traded, did you feel like when they started trading you a lot, like did you feel like you was almost done, or it was just what they was thinking?
Hell no. I thought I had a lot left.
Yeah,
like,
it's normally like that,
yeah.
bro. It's normally like that. Folks, it's officially summer. And while the perfect summer playlist may be elusive, one thing is for sure. It always gets better with the cold Coors Light. On a hot summer day, what better combo is there than a barbecue, good music, and an even better beer? Whether you're at the beach, on the patio, or at a concert, there's no better beer than Coors Light. Coors Light is cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged for a smoother finish. Coors Light is the only choice when you're ready to choose chill. Straight from the Coors Brewing Company in Golden, Colorado. When the mountains turn blue, you're ready to choose chill. So amplify your chill this summer with Coors Light. Choose chill, choose Coors Light. I know I'll be all summer. Make sure you celebrate responsibly. Go to CoorsLight.com/summermusic to see how Coors Light can amplify your summer. And be sure to keep an eye out for Coors Light social handles all summer long for exciting announcements.